quarter being evaluated, starting five in this game together for the first time. What do you think of how they played together?
Generally, without looking at the film, I saw a lot of positives. Our start wasn't the best. We had a lot of fouls early. We cleaned it up, and I have strong belief in that group offensively. Defensively, it's just the fouls are something we've got to get better with.
Did Ty play about as you expected coming back into the first time?
Yeah, no, he played well, and plus 14 in 23 minutes, and yeah, pretty much controlled everything. Toppin did a good job. I thought Bruce played with a higher level of edge in this game, which is exactly the reason we signed him. There were plenty of positives in this game, and then there's some things that you look at stat sheets stick out as pretty obvious things. Some of our younger guys are gonna have to learn some things and grow, and overall, I thought it was a positive game, and we got to have a good practice tomorrow.
Jones had a couple nice games in a row. What stood out to you about what he's been able to do?
Between last year and this year, he's just raised his level of presence, intensity, and he's worked hard at his game. He's worked hard on his body. He's stronger. He's more physical. His feel is constantly evolving. And he's one of our best offensive rebounders, too, and that generates possessions.
How are you seeing the chemistry between Myles and Toppin and Obi come together, especially when it comes to pick and roll and one can roll and one can space?
Well, the fact that both of them shoot the ball easily and well, is an important fact, because it creates some havoc for defenses, and so it's just that's a positive. Obi's running is a big factor in the game, as we saw tonight. I don't expect Myles to have this kind of foul trouble, on a consistent basis. So, but we have one more preseason game with these guys together, and we'll learn more from that against a team that's clearly playing a different style than the team we played tonight. That'll be important to look at.
Two guys I wanted to ask you about, TJ and Ben Shepherd. Obviously, TJ's got a lot of minutes with the injury now. Obviously, Tyrese missed the first two. But what do you like about what he's done in his role? It's obviously something you expect, but still, how do you like about how he's played? Ben's continues to shoot the ball.
TJ? Yeah, TJ's just doing what he does, which is, brings amazing pace to the game. He's a serial paint attacker. And, defensively, he creates havoc. Shepherd is playing a mature game for a rookie. He is older. He did play 4 years, and that shows. But he understands what we need of him. He's a great runner. His shooting is on the come. It's he shoots it easy. He's really dialed in on a precision approach to shooting. He's gonna be the kind of guy that's a pain in the ass to guard, because he's just constantly running around. He's a little bit like Buddy. So he's doing a lot of good things.
First game reps with this group. What do you make of playing with this new team and how?
Just getting the rhythm down. I thought we were really good in the second quarter. Holding the team to 15 points in a quarter is probably ain't going to have a better quarter than that defensively in an NBA game. So thought we did a lot of good stuff tonight. Second half, they jumped us a little bit, and, they brought the game back, made it a close game. But I thought the second quarter was really good, probably our best defensive quarter of the preseason. And, we just got to keep building on that, finding our identity, obviously, with, this group that's out there, our starting group. And I thought our second group was really good at pulling away, and then first group came in and did our thing. So I thought it was a total team effort, and just learning each other.
Before the game, about evaluating that opening five that you just mentioned, what do tonight?
I thought it was good. I probably personally want to find more ways to get Ben the ball. Some more actions for him. That's probably on me more than anything. But I think a guy like Obi and Ben and Bruce, those are guys that can really get up and down the floor. We just got to make sure that we're finishing possessions. Obi's a big leak-out guy, and I am too sometimes. So we got to be better, us two for sure. But as long as we get stops and rebound, not many people are going to beat us up and down the floor. So just got to make sure we're finishing possessions defensively.
To keep on that, what did you like about just the way that you guys shared the ball? I mean, it was obviously you're always trying to do that, but it seemed like that was kind of infectious with that group, with that starting unit, but also the unit that you came on with that had Buddy and for Bruce. I mean, what do you like about the degree to which everybody was really trying to move the basket?
Yeah, 36 assists on 42 field goals. That's really good. The ball was moving well. Their defense, I think obviously they were probably dramatizing it a little bit in terms of how much they're in the gap and stuff because they're obviously working on new things. But the way their defense is, you're going to be playing a lot of 2-on-1 because there's a heavy nail. If you split the nail, you're making the pass, you're reading guy on the weak side. If you kick it ahead, then the guy's kind of splitting the two and you got to read it out of there. So their defense is really forces you to play 2-on-1. So I thought we did a good job majority of the times. 12 turnovers I think is good for an NBA game. So I just want to keep harping on that and take the good with the good and the bad with the bad.
Rick talked about how kind of your practices have maybe been more indicative than the first two preseason games. You feel like maybe that's more what the first half was like and what you guys have seen in practice?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's a little different when I play versus when I don't. So I thought today was kind of our first time having our full team out there, having full run out there. So, yeah, I think our practices have probably definitely been more impactful than our preseason games just because of who's playing and stuff. And at the same time, the way we like to play offensively against the way we play defensively is an interesting contrast in practice because offensively we're such a team that gets up and down. We like to shoot a lot of threes, and where our defense is kind of a team that likes to run teams off the three-point line, kind of make you play in the two a little bit more. So it's interesting because sometimes in practice offensively, I'm like, dang, we ain't really getting the shots we want. But sometimes that's just how our defense works. So it's an interesting contrast between the two styles, and it's good to play against that. But it feels like when you're playing like a game like tonight, I'm getting way more threes than I'm shooting in practice for sure.
And then just kind of your emotions of seeing Ron again, hanging out with him, and maybe a lasting memory you'll have from year and a half together.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's well documented how close me and Ron are. He came to my house last night for a few hours, and we kind of just hung out and watched the Kings-Warriors game and just talked about life, just checking on the fam and stuff. I got nothing but love for Ron Norad, and he holds a special, special place in my heart and has helped me develop a lot as a basketball player. So it's always good to see him, love him to death, love his family to death. So good to see him joke around and stuff. And, I miss him for sure, but I know he's doing good things over there. And, never it's the NBA, so things move all the time. You never know. I'm sure that we'll find a way to link up again one day.
You guys talked a little bit in preseason about how Obi and Myles might play off each other. It seemed like you had a couple of occasions where you had Obi rolling, you had Myles open in the corner, and sort of vice versa. I mean, what do you like about how that's coming together and how those guys can open things up for each other and give you two guys that can roll and also space?
I think that's the interesting part of playing Obi at the 4, and I think it's kind of eye-opening for Obi a little bit, learning because there's a big difference between playing with Mitchell Robinson versus Myles Turner, two great players. Mitch obviously plays a lot more around the rim, so Obi's high-flying ability and putting pressure on the rim with his rolling gravity, it didn't really work with New York because Mitch was down there more times than not, and there's a big down there. Whereas here, with him setting step up, setting screens, and rolling, if you're not physical and don't push him up, then he's rolling to the rim, and that puts pressure on your defense to rotate. And because Myles can space the floor, it's a little different. And I think he's getting used to it. And us two playing together, we're getting used to it. But I think it'll be really interesting, considering that most teams switch 1 through 4. So if he's rolling down with a head of steam, and if you're not pulling in with your big, then it's probably a lob or bounce pass to the roll. If you do pull in, that leaves Myles open, and
We're just getting used to playing more randomness. If swinging it to Myles doesn't have a shot, going right to second action with Ben or whoever it is, DHO, and playing out that two-man. So just kind of figuring it out, and that's just going to come with time. Like offensively, I think I said this before, but there's still like a repetitiveness to the randomness that we play within the game of basketball. So just trying to figure out how we can switch it up the more, instead of just every time swing, give it to the point guard, ball screen, or swing, get to the point guard and blur. Like a slip screen with the guard, like that works a lot. That works, but there's got to be times where you hit the big or running chin action. There's got to be different stuff. You got to try some stuff out. But I think the more time you spend together and over the more months, it'll be better. Every team in the NBA does 5-on-0 every day from here until April, May. You know what I mean? So it takes time, but it's been fun, and that process every year is always fun to learn. Like, this is what does work, this is what doesn't work. So it's been an interesting process.
They didn't have Trey, of course, but they only 12 3-point attempts in the first half, 26 total. Did you feel the implementation of your defense a little more tonight as you did a little better keeping them off the line?
I think so. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think the first two games they gave up. Outside the Grizzlies game, I went to overtime, but in regulation, I think they had like 10 threes. Houston had 11 or 12 tonight. 12. That's lower than what most teams are shooting. Most teams are. We hit 18 tonight. Like, you're trying to get them like 15, 16, 17 range. So, I think running teams off the 3-point line has been good, but we just got to do a great job of rotating and finishing possessions, because a lot of times if you run dudes off the 3-point line, you're getting beat. You're dependent on your help, and then you're kind of cross-matched, so you got to box out and not foul. We have been awful. Like, it was 5-0 really quick in that first quarter. And, as much as everybody wants to be like, man, the refs are, it's 5-0. Maybe they messed up on one of them, but they ain't messing up on 5. So we got to do a better job of showing our hands as much as possible and just being more disciplined. This is like the third game in a row where we've been really bad defensively of reaching in and just bad fouls. We got to get rid of the ones where a guy's behind the backboard or bailing dudes out who aren't going to make the shots that they're shooting. We got to do a better job of that, and that's top to bottom from 1 to 15, or 1 to 18. So we just got to be better, and we will over time. It's a process.
Myles, we're talking before the game about evaluating your starting five together for the first time this preseason. What do you think of that 5-man combination?
I think we got out and did some good things. Obviously, stuff we got to work on, but I like the way we were able to play as fast as we did. I think a staple of our offense is getting up and down, just letting Tyrese create, and obviously having him back was big as well. And I like the way we operated on the offensive side of things.
What do you think that group stands defensively right now, and where can they take a step forward?
The fouls is the glaring thing right away. I think that's something that we've been doing. Even just the first couple preseason games, doing a little bit too much, keep guys in the line. But as a whole, we're experimenting with our defense quite a bit, and I like where we're headed. We've made some great strides, especially like in practice and whatnot. But it has to apply to the games.
Your sense is it breakdowns elsewhere leading to the fouling? Is it jumpy, close up, or is it kind of
I think it's just habit work. I think that whenever you start to a guy beats you, your first instinct is to try to grab or try to hold, and that's something we're trying to get away from. You know what I mean? Just trusting the help and trusting the guy behind you, and a big emphasis of the camp has been just one-on-one competing. Just having a guy defensively, keeping him in front of you, and just doing your job for at least 3 to 4 seconds.
How far along do you feel like the defense is? Do you feel like you're kind of just establishing it now that you got guys together again?
I think we still have a ways to go. I don't think it's a finished product whatsoever. I think it's one of those things where we continue to rep it out in practice, have one more preseason game to get it right, and continue to get it right as you go throughout the year. We have a lot of new guys, that are trying to one come into the cracking rotation, and two, new guys to our system. So it's just integrating them, and like I said, just let it all unfold.
With that first unit, kind of anybody can get going. It seems like a couple times when you haven't got it yet, you're taking threes instead. Is that because of with like Obi being in the middle, you being outside? Do you expect more of that this season?
It was just reads today, I would say. A lot of time, playing the 4, like I did, I have more of I guess a keen sense when to pop, when to roll, when to space. And there's a couple times where Obi was rolling today, and I know as a 5, your first instinct is to try to catch that roller and try to block the shot. So as an offensive 5, knowing he's going to be occupied, I'm just going to space. and that's what I was able to get free a couple times a day. And just mix it up. You know, there's times where I post up, there's times where I get the ball on the roll, but the way they were playing defense today, it didn't really present a lot of opportunities on the roll. You know, they were trapping the ball and someone was open weak side. So it's just making your reads as you go. I think that having the knowledge of the 4 and then playing a natural position of 5, you know, that's an advantage of playing with someone like Obi who wants to roll and get on the rim, and I can space and vice versa.
Just to keep going on that, I mean, how do you guys feel like your chemistry is coming along? It did seem like you guys, the kind of offensive skill played off each other well tonight. How well do you think that's coming along?
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely coming along. It's just that getting the repetition, you know, getting a chance to actually play together. You know, it's one thing to do it in practice, but to actually apply it in the game is huge. And I think that, you know, this is only our second game together if you really want to count things. So getting more of that time together, the repetitions as I, you know, referred to, I think it's all going to be good stuff.
What's impressed about the rookies in particular?
Yeah, man. I mean, Ben Shepard's obviously the big surprise, I would say. You know, I thought he was going to be someone that would come in and, you know, try to earn some minutes, but he's kind of just kicked the door down, man. He's hitting shots. He defends well. He has good energy. He doesn't try to do too much. And I think I like where he is right now, and I think he obviously can get better as he goes. Jarris as well is someone who's just got to pick and choose his spots. You know, I think that Jarris is someone who can go in there and mix a lot of things up. He can shoot. He can get downhill. He has a nice little touch around the rim. He's a good passer. But the game's a little fast for him right now, as it is for, you know, most rookies. And the game's a little fast for Ben, too. You know, Ben just happens to be making a couple more shots. But I think the guys are going to get a good chance to, you know, crack rotation, go out there and play. And as the season progresses, you know, they'll have a chance to learn.